When I got out of high school, I had a group of friends. Okay, let me rephrase it. I have one friend. When I you got me. Absolutely owed. All right. Raise of hands, everybody. Who saw the EU weekend, huh? Don't care about it, right? Nobody cares. Who saw the NA highlight reel on the EU weekend? Anybody see the highlight reel that they showed? That caused a lot of people to be upset and mad. Some people upset. Some people don't care. Stumpy yaps and he says, oh, no, don't worry. I got the clips of the NA highlights. And then basically they play some whooping sound effects. They go, boop, 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 boop. What is it? The goofy ass sound effects. And it's just basically lowlights, right? And then people missing the ball, and they go, yeah, this is really good gameplay. And they just play the bit, right? Do you think you're funny, Goblin? Thanks for the feedback, Dylan. I'll bear it in mind. And I said, no feedback, just a request to do better. I thought I was being funny. I thought I was being a little silly, a little nonsense, a little funny back and forth, whatever. I don't know. Me and Stumpy have a relationship of shitting on each other, I guess. That's kind of the best way to put it. And then somebody put it on the subreddit, the RLCS subreddit. They didn't phrase it as if it was a negative thing. They just said Rizzo's response to the NA pre-show highlights, in quotes. Wait, as I said, this is why Rizzo owned gold in quality yesterday, to give them better highlights. Said it's not in yet, and then owned gold said now it is. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is some people thought my tweet was serious. Most people, I would assume, did not. If you took this seriously, you lost. Many people are taking this way too seriously. I don't think this is about my tweet. I think this is about the highlights in general. Yeah, this guy said, Rizzo Lamau, what a humorless knob. And Code Stuff said, seriously, that guy wouldn't know funny if it walked up to him in a bar and squeezed his cheeks. Are you comparing my humor to just sexual harassment? Is that like I wouldn't know humor unless I was sexually harassed? Is that what we're getting at? I don't know. I'm trying to weigh the options here. I don't know. I mean, that's accurate. I thought the pre-show was a little goof, okay? I didn't find it super funny. I wasn't sitting there cackling, but I wasn't offended by it. I just started shitting on Stumpy because I tend to shit on Stumpy. That's usually kind of just how it goes. And he shits on me. You know, when we did the viewing party and he looked at how I was dressed when he was in a suit, he straight up said, you look poor. Okay, that should be enough to where how our relationship goes. That's our back and forth. He looked at me in a hoodie and just straight up called me poor, which I guess only poor people wear hoodies, by the way, so keep that in mind. That's according to Stumpy, not me. So I'm not the bad guy. There was one person on Twitter, which I can't find the tweet. Maybe somebody in chat has it. Doubt it. I don't know. Where they were saying that, like, this doesn't belong on the official RLCS broadcast. Them just basically making fun of NA. To an extent, I kind of agree to, like, not pinpoint a certain region or select players or whatever. It does make sense to have a little laugh every now and then. But it made me start to think a little bit more. I think, okay, let me rephrase this. I think the reason it was bad was because people have been shitting on NA for like 4 weeks now, saying NA is bad, and then they basically show a highlight reel of a bunch of whiffs and stuff. That's why it's bad, because it's like you're kind of just you're not stopping the punching. That's kind of where it's like, okay, maybe you're pushing a little bit. But I think this highlights is probably the last line that's drawn, whatever. And people are gonna be like, okay, we're gonna stop now. That's my guess, regardless. I don't think it's that bad, whatever. What I started to think about is a lot of people brought this up, is like ESPN and all those shows and stuff, they do a not top 10 or whatever. The not top 10 was even funnier, even greater than watching the best plays. Yeah, and now they got Shacked in a Fool. They got all that. So what I'm saying is, I think First Touch should have a not top 10-esque or a Shacked in the Fool-esque type part of their show, where they take the lowlights, take 5 of them, and just go at it. It doesn't matter the region, just do it. Because now I'm realizing that it's funny, and there's a market for it. So somebody should do it. And I think First Touch is the most reasonable place to say this team should do it, this should happen. I should do it? I ain't doing all that. That sounds like a lot of work that I don't want to do. If you guys didn't see it as well, this is relevant to the qualifier that was played in Europe for Open Qualifier 2. So let me just share this little tidbit of information. You know, classic double in bracket, but Carmine Corp lost to Suh. Okay, and then they had to go through the lower bracket and make it through, and they made it through as the 16th seed because Suh went and took their seed, because apparently that's how it works. There was then a tweet from RLCS that it really made me think, and Farah's tweet kind of puts it together, but I thought about a little something else too. With KC's victory today, once they won the regional yesterday on Sunday 25th, there are currently 5 undefeated teams in the RLCS this season. Carmine Core, Falcons, G2, Power, and Limitless. So they're saying that even though KC lost in the qualifier to SUA, it doesn't count. They're still undefeated. It's as if the win didn't even happen. And then Farah says, oh, word, we're undefeated? Does that mean double limb losses do not count for us? Then maybe we don't play this weekend. And the rest. Thanks, RLCS. He's basically saying, give us a bye so we don't have to play. Yeah, RLCS tweet this as if, like, their qualifiers don't even count towards, like, losses and stuff. They're not, like... I don't know. It's a weird way to say, like, it's not, like, a meaningful win. And then also a weird way to indirectly say that, like, their qualifier event doesn't matter to them. That's the way I kind of read it, which is, like, I don't know if it's reaching. And I try my best always not to go reaching. But this also means that Turbo's Cheeks is also undefeated since we never made a main event. Because we've never lost. Turbo's Cheeks is also undefeated. But then, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this, and then it also kind of, like, undermines the fact that, like, SUA actually beat this team. Okay, you got the dub. That's cool. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Nobody asked. I thought the double limb part doesn't count as RLCS. But why would you have, like, this big ongoing qualifier that you're advertising so much and not kind of have it as a piece of RLCS? I understand it's not your main event, but when you're clumping everything together as Open Qualifier 2, surely it's part of your event, right? It's not the RLCS 2024 Major 1 Open Qual 2, and then they play in the main event. It's all one thing. They have this all listed as one thing. That was their sole purpose. The only reason this is separated is because Liquipedia did us a favor. But all Open Qualifier 2 is still the same event. You know, Carmine Core goes in. You go to the overview. It's like the actual main event, but RLCS is still calling it the whole thing. It's called being them. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't need to sit here and complain about a bunch of stuff that RL Esports is doing. I feel like they will kind of, unfortunately, make themselves look foolish. I feel like a lot recently has just been people complaining. Oh, this is what I want to talk about earlier. A lot recently has been people complaining, right? And so this goes back to what I was saying with Stumpy's thing about the low lights. I feel like recently, there's two reasons that people are complaining so much. There's NA versus EU, and they can't play each other yet, so people are just molding. If you're NA, you're molding because people are making fun of you. If you're EU, you're molding because NA thinks they're better. So they're just mad, right? Everybody's just mad. But then the other reason for this is because there's been so much negativity with RL Esports. I mean, Rocket League, Epic Games. Well, I don't know about Epic in general, right? I think it's mainly Rocket League has created a disdain towards Epic Games for a lot of people. But if people be like Fortnite, they don't give a fuck. They're probably like, yeah, Epic's whatever. They don't care. But people are just pissy right now, and so looking for just about anything to take their anger out on. And so this highlights thing probably is that. Same thing, same exact thing with the Johnny Boy tier list where he put G2 at 5th or whatever. And people were molding about that for, I mean, people are still talking about it to this day. And it's like, I don't know, 10 days old or something like that. 2 weeks maybe. And people are just still molding about it. It's like, it's such a small, minuscule thing that there's also nothing to talk about that people make a big deal out of nothing. Get to the point, old man. There, I just said the point, okay? And then speaking of disdain towards RL Esports and Epic Games, I decided to watch Rainbow Six. Now, when I say watch, I mean, I didn't actually watch it. I tuned into Jinxie's stream, and they happened to be doing some sort of reveal. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a watch. And so I watched for about 4 minutes or so. And then I went back in the VOD, and I wanted to see how long this segment was. Rainbow Six, first off, their grand finals, I heard, was absolutely insane. I got told what happened. Ridiculous. That's cool and all. What I was impressed by was me watching Rainbow Six do a 45-minute segment on the finals pre-show with their game directors that shows the roadmap for the game's updates for the upcoming year. This is what they had on their stream. Season 1. This is for the entire year. So year 9 is this year, 2024. Season 1, they're going to do new operators. Season 2, recruit remaster. New operator in season 3, operator remaster. This is everything they're doing for the major features: player protection, balancing, player comfort, training, onboarding, yada, 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 a bunch of stuff. The thing is I'm summing this up because there's so much stuff they're adding to the game. And then I just said, would be nice. Simply would be nice. Garrett chimes in and says, our roadmap would just be Rocket League Pass release dates, which I hate because he's so right. There's actually no point. There's two things, right? I wish Rocket League had a roadmap, you know, because then we would actually know what's coming to the game potentially ever. And then two, I wish they would actually update their game. So they need to do both, you know? But will they ever do that? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do a roadmap. I also don't think they're going to update their game besides Rocket Pass and little bit of map reskins. So unfortunately, that is just in the gutter. And yeah, that's also another thing. It's like, you know, it's bad when I'm gonna say people, but like I was giving a compliment to Ubisoft. You know, it's bad when people give compliments to Ubisoft because Ubisoft is pretty fucking rough. So yeah, I saw them doing something good. I had to give credit to it, and I was hoping that maybe Rocket League does that one day. Probably not. Probably never.